Welcome to Voice of the Fat Mantis, and we're going to be talking about Netflix today. I think everyone and their mother has already discussed Netflix stock dropping a little over 35% over the past week. Netflix is tightening its belt. Everyone's discussed it, but they haven't discussed the angle I want to discuss, the true tragedy of this. I mean, everyone losing their jobs is ultimately a tragedy, but I want to talk about the tragedy of the loss of an animation studio. But before we get into that, I would love it if you liked, shared, and subscribed this video. Keep hanging out with the Voice of the Fat Mantis. I'm doing my best to bring you entertainment news, shenanigans, reviews, whatever you're really into. This is really a journey into the sick mind of the Fat Mantis, and I hope you will come with me on this wonderful journey. Now, getting into it. So Netflix animation studio is shut down, or is it? We don't know. So basically what has happened is immediately after the stock drop, probably the next day, creative director of Netflix animation, Phil Rendon, was let go immediately. Basically, executive fired, told to get right out. Other executives would follow over the course of the next day, and people would start heading for the hills. Now, Netflix originally, not only just animation, but Netflix in general, gave unprecedented creative freedoms to the people who would work in there. They would absolutely just let people carte blanche, do whatever you want, go nuts. And the type of stuff that went out there was pretty dynamic. A lot of it was garbage, both in live action and animation, I would say, but you got some gems, like, for instance, Big Mouth. Big Mouth, if you haven't seen it, you need to get on that. But Big Mouth was revolutionary in the fact that it's the type of animation, adult animation, that no other studio is ever going to let you put on air. So if it can find another home, I would be in shock, because even though a successful show, who is going to take that? What we have is we've got confirmation that Craig McCracken of, if you don't know who he is, you need to get knowledgeable in his history on animation, and Elizabeth and Jorge Gutierrez, and also Guillermo del Toro with his show Troll Hunters, are all shopping at other studios. They've already walked out. Even if there is something salvaged at the animation studio, they are gone like Donkey Kong. It is, and also Jeff Smith's Bone, which is an adaptation of like an amazing comic book. Really, it looks very simple and for kids, but it's truly amazing fantasy. And that was a long-awaited project we couldn't wait for. That flat out is canceled. So we don't know if he's able to take, because he's not an animator. He's a comic book writer. We don't know if he could take it elsewhere, but that is kaput for the time being. And it just looks like there's havoc in general everywhere. I don't know what they're going to be able to salvage. It would also look like, and also the entire creative teams that went to Netflix as their new home, including the Adventure Time team and the Gravity Falls team, also all looking for work at studios. So they're shopping around. So it looks like a true confirmation that Netflix truly is shutting down its animation studio, for better or worse, whether they do an official press release or not. Now, there are some unknown fates for some actually beloved shows, such as Big Mouth. Boss Baby, I didn't know that was a success. I'm actually surprised to hear it, but go for you, Boss Baby. Castlevania in the anime department, and Dragon Prince. Now, I believe Dragon Prince might have been coming close to its end, if not already, but the question is, that IP can still have spin-offs and other shenanigans. What are we looking at here? Where are these things going on? It's actually interesting that Elizabeth Ito, who is the producer and writer of City of Ghosts, and let me tell you, this animation was so good, it has 100% Rotten Tomatoes score. Do with that information what you will. I know some people don't trust Rotten Tomatoes at all, and others swear by it. But it does have a perfect score, and it's one of the only animations I've ever seen to have perfect score. Her accusation was that when they were fired, when they were actually told to get their walking papers, numbers were shown which seemed to be staged. Stage data was presented to them to justify their firing, that they hadn't been doing a good job this entire time. And it's a shame thing, because I really wish, I don't know if it's a contractual thing, but Netflix should just be able to say, it didn't work out, we have to tighten our belts, we lost a lot of stock and value. and we have to change something up. Instead, that they decided to tell all these guys that they're doing a bad job and that their ratings have been horrible, even though Elizabeth Ito swears that the numbers before were saying that it was excellent. And so that is just another grimy tactic. But what can you expect from corporations? Now, I'm no anti-capitalist. I absolutely love capitalism. I think it's very good. But I will say I've been screwed by numerous corporations, and that's kind of how they go about it. When how to control a politically correct environment is put to an executive committee, or there has to be a textbook on how to treat people, it usually goes afoul. Usually human interaction is a gray area, and you need somebody with a subtle hand, and not everyone is the same, but basically they're like, we need an excuse to get rid of them. Tell them they suck. And that's totally uncool. Very uncool, Netflix. What is the quality of Netflix going forward? I don't know. Now, I know what you're saying. If you're getting into all this animation, do you even want to watch Netflix without animation? I actually think there are people who will say that. I'm sure a lot of you are just here for Bridgerton or whatever these big hits are. But there is a shining light of hope. Now, just today, this is breaking. Netflix signed a multi-picture deal with Colorido. It's a Japanese anime studio, as in Netflix has publicly admitted that anime is the future. Now, I hope they realize that anime is not the only animation that's the future. It's certainly a palpable, enjoyable, popular genre, or should I say medium, but or style, really, right? I mean, we could discuss what anime is all day long. Some people, like for instance, some people are against these American-made, mainly Netflix, animes, but that's for a different video there. They're picking up animation. They're just outsourcing it. They're letting someone else do it. So some of these animes may be saved. Does that mean that the Castlevania spinoff has been saved? Now, that's one of the things that I have skin in the game for. It's funny, I just did a live stream probably like 2 weeks ago about how awesome Castlevania as an entire series is. It's really a miraculous series for, once again, an American anime. I know people are going to get it. People are triggered from hearing this one. But is it possible they're going to pick it up? Will they save the creative team? Will Konami actually go to another studio if it's not saved? And are they willing to put it on a different streaming service? I don't want this to be like the movie of the week where a studio isn't responsible for making it, so they just put it on a streaming service. A lot of Hollywood movies are doing that. They're bouncing between streaming services, and you really don't know where to find them. You're like, last week I could watch West Side Story on this, and they're like, nope, now it's on HBO Max. It's super confusing, and I don't want that to be the anime situation. So at least Netflix has the foresight to know that animation will be saved. Like, is the future? Will they save my blessed, beautiful first love, Castlevania? Oh, in the name of the Bellmans, please. Anyway, so that is my story about Netflix animation, because Netflix was heavy-handedly giving us great animation. A lot of it we didn't even know or checking it out. We were taking it for granted. And could this be the death of animation? It's a shame that so many people think that animation is a lesser form of storytelling. So, I mean, it is tragic. Let's hope some of our favorite shows find a place to land, find a place to stream, and we can continue to have these great adventures and experiences. But that is my show for today. Thank you for choosing Voice of the Fat Mantis. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you again. Till next time, ciao for now, my bitches.